Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a special segment of Rotate New. Welcome to 2026. If you can believe it, we had a great 2025 and so much in store for 2026. Spoony, we got a special one. With the new year comes new resolutions. I don't know about you. I've already started failing mine. I said I was going to eat healthier. Today, I had a little too many Dr. Peppers, if you know what I'm saying. That being said, Spoony, what are your resolutions for this year?
Listen, Pooh, that's the only trip to the doctor that I can get behind. But let me tell you, my New Year's resolution is to go to the gym at least once. I went 0 times last year, so I'm really aiming for a 100% increase in that domain. So, but yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about 0, let's talk about some of these teams here. We got some New Year's resolutions that we put on these teams. Let's start with the Surge.
Yeah,
Holy.
you mentioned it. Holy is right. Talk about 0. You got 0 map wins in 2025. Let's leave that in the past. The first right out the gate, you got to win a damn map. Please, just get me one. It's going to feel so much better once that one is out of the way. That aside, listen, for Surge, I'm saying they got to make another roster change. They got to elevate this squad, have some veteran presence. I know you've made a change for TJ, but I don't think he's, with no disrespect, that veteran that is going to elevate the squad to the level that it needs to be. I still think that they're going to sit in that bottom 4 if they can win a map. Right now, it's not looking good for the Surge.
Yeah, I mean, we talk a little bit in our section of the show later on in the week, but I don't know. I feel like when we went through these maps and we broke them down, it's like there's nobody on this team that I feel confident in. TJ Halley, he brings somewhat of a veteran presence, but not really. I mean, he's been around the game, but everybody that knows him in the CDL knows that he brings the vibes. He's a funny guy, but I'm sure he's showing up late to scrims. He might can gun well, but how are his comms? All these different things. I just feel like it's not going to mesh well, especially with such a young team. They dropped a young player for another young player. Well, I don't know. I just feel like it's not going to go that well. I know he's been around the league, but they really got to get it together going into this year, or it's just going to be another Falcon situation where they're going 0 and 0 and 0 and 0 and 0, and it's going to be hard to watch. But hey, you got to go from the bottom up. You got the Surge, but right after them is the Royal Ravens. And my thoughts on them are they got a lot of promising things. I'm starting to get a little hot on this Ravens team. I like them. But they got to listen to Slasher, man. I mean, when you talk about what we just said, veteran presence on a team, you have one of the best S&D veterans of all time in Slasher. This guy, he's been around the game. He's smart as hell. He's got a degree. I mean, this guy is making robots and also calling S&D strats. So I feel like you got to listen to him. You got to give him an opportunity to lead this team, and you got to trust him. And trust goes a long way in S&D.
I think you're right on the money there. I said, listen, they got to get out of the bottom 4. I'm starting to hop on that Ravens trend. I think Mango Tango Phil the Thrill was early to this. He said Carolina off the gate. He might know ball. He might know ball.
He might know it, yeah.
Listen, I think 0 can't be dropping .0s. Okay, just get that 0 out of the game. He's kind of the X factor for this team. I think when he's firing, the team is firing. And I'm looking at Lurks to become Works. Give me those W's. Stop turning these L's. Get me some W's, Lurks. This is another young guy that I think when he starts getting going, he starts getting comfortable, kind of what you were saying. They're falling in line with Slasher. They're really leaning into that. This is a team that can kind of be a sleeper team that I'm excited to watch going into this year.
Yeah, Lurks, he's looking really good. He's got the gunny, he's got the movement, but he needs that veteran presence. That's what we missed in the Surge. You got Legend. He's coming into the scene. He needs these people to teach him how to play the game. And I think Lurks is going to be a monster. But shoot, another team that has a veteran presence, but is lacking the veteran presence. Talk to me about G2.
Yeah, talk about a guy that is a vet, but is not fully leaning into that. And I honestly think it's the way that this team is built. But I'm a big fan of this guy, Cramplopoulos, big fan. I think this guy is on a tear, but he's still not that IGL leader that we're looking for if you're a G2 fan. I think you've got to take the pressure off Estrio. You've got to take it off Mamba. These guys are, I think they're X factors of this team. I think the problem with G2 is there's so many players on that team that are X factors. And when they're not really just individual players and they're not playing as a team, you're looking at the season they're having right now, which is not good. I'm looking at Krem to really lean in and start having these MVP moments. I know it's asking a lot for Kremp, but this is the guy who's been in the league. He's been on some great teams. He's made some great plays and gone on some great tournament runs. I'd like to see him step into that role, maybe take some pressure off Estrio Mamba, get a little comfortable. We saw Mamba tear last year. I'd like to see that again. And maybe this team looks a little different, but I'm a little bit hesitant if they can do that with this team.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think Mamba is the key to this team, and he needs to get unlocked. I mean, he absolutely popped off in Black Ops 6, and he deserves a spot in the CDL, but he needs a good team around him and allow that they need to allow him to do what he can do. He's a fast AR. He wants to move around, and Skies, we know he's a slow AR, but this is a fast-paced game. And I feel like the veteran needs to learn a little bit from the rookie here. I feel like they need to teach each other, and they need to give him a space to move correctly. But it's going to take a lot. He's a rookie, and he's on the up and up, but he's going to find his footing, and I think he's going to be nasty.
Totally. And you mentioned speed, and that brings me to the Heretics. We've talked about this a bunch. I want to hear your thoughts on the Heretics right now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this team has played very ratty recently over the last couple of years. They weren't really a force to be reckoned with until they got Rencor and Real, but they don't have Real anymore. They picked up Super last year, and they had a little bit of a tear. They had a nice thing gelling. They had a nice thing going. But the word around the league is that these guys are ratty. They're sitting in corners. They're challenging when they're not supposed to be there. It's a weird team to play against. And I feel like then whenever they get into the top three against these teams that really know how to play the game, they fall short, and they aren't able to. They haven't won an event. They haven't gotten close to winning an event. And I feel like they really have to start picking up the pace, and they have to stop playing ratty. They got to just learn how to play the game and learn the fundamentals.
100%. That brings me to my point. I said consistency, right? They are living in that kind of consistency of playing individualism, playing ratty. It's working against these bottom tier teams. But like you said, when you stop playing these top tier teams who have the systems in place, who know how to play good competitive COD, it falls short. That's why they haven't been able to win tournaments. I've also said with the Heretics as an org, they're kind of a team that gets the pedal going towards the end of the year. And for them, I'd like to see them put the foot on the gas right now. Don't wait until Major 4. Don't wait till Champs. Don't even wait till EWC to start really get it going. Get it going now. So that way, when you're hitting Major 2, Major 3, you're really starting to make an imprint that maybe you're a contender for Champs. Maybe you're a contender for EWC, instead of in the years past where it's like they're really just heating up towards the end. And if they were to start like this, they might be a completely different team.
Yeah, and when you're talking about Spanish teams, you got to give some love to the Europeans. I mean, you look at Cloud9, Afro coming into the CDL after what seems like, years and years that he was frying in European challengers. He's finally getting his opportunity back in the CDL. He has Mac, he has Vivid, and Beans. I mean, I don't know how Beans got another spot in the CDL. He didn't look that good on Toronto. He got dropped, and then he didn't look too good in his challengers teams. I feel like he tried his best. He's a decent AR, but I feel like he, again, lacks that consistency. That's a word you're going to hear a lot from us, because I feel like the CDL is full of all these teams that are just either the hottest team in the world or the worst team in the world. And it's just like these players that are inconsistent, but Afro has to get comfortable. That is the key to Cloud9's victory. You got Vivid and you got Mac. Those guys are going to be the veteran leaders on this team. Afro's been around a while, but he hasn't been in the CDL, so he needs somebody to help him get comfortable. And Vivid and Mac, they've been in and out, but I feel like they have more experience in the CDL than him, so they really got to help him get comfortable.
100%. And I'm kind of stacking on to the comfortability. I'm looking for them to be clutch in this year. I'm looking that when this team goes down 0-1 or this team goes down 0-2, or we're even getting to game 5s, I want to see them put the W's on the rocks and inject the ice in the veins, right? I'm not looking to see the old Cloud9, which I think is when the momentum is not happening. There's no way that this team is going to win. If you're watching this late, you can skip through the series because you know the outcome, right? I want to see a Cloud9 team that when their back's up against the wall, they're putting on a fight. And I think, like you said, these players really need to step in with the transition for Afro. And I think this team could become something. I'm excited to watch, but I think, honestly, if we're looking ahead, that this team is going to kind of live in the middle of the pack. And I don't really see them putting that together, but I'm hopeful that they can, get that ice factor.
Yeah, if you're a Cloud9, I feel like you're really hoping for a top 5 spot. You're happy to make champs, and I don't think anybody really expects anything more of that, which can also be a good thing. you can be an underdog. You can come out swinging, and you can maybe make a name for yourself. But speaking of top 5 teams, the Falcons, this is a team that people coming into this year, they didn't really know what the roster was going to round out to be. A lot of pieces falling into place with other rosters, and selling him. He is an incredible talent, but does he know how to play the game? This is something that people have been saying for such a long time. And I say it myself that this is such a team of individuals. You've got Pred, you've got Celium, and no disrespect to Exnit, he's a new player, but I don't think that he truly understands how to play the game yet. And that makes sense. And so I think Kismet is actually the most crucial part of this team. When you have the brain of Kismet and the brain of Clayster, you have to listen to those guys. And you got to try to mesh as well as you can, because if not, I think you're just going to fall off. But they started 0-2. They're now 2-2. And not to spoil, the video coming a little bit, but Pooh, you did say that this team is maybe going to start off on a hot streak, going 3-0 after their 0-2 start.
Yeah, I did. And I think that reason behind that is I think that there is potential with this team. I think we're starting to see glimpses of the champs Pred and Cell that we've seen before. I think once they start meshing, this is a scary team. Now, my biggest resolution for them is to not get complacent. I mean, these are guys, if we're going to be honest, they're probably making the most bag in the CDL. We saw the salaries that were leaked. Again, this is all alleged, but we know that the Falcons have some money. If you want to throw that over to Rotate New, hey, we will be Falcons #1 fans for the rest of the season. Come on, go Falcons.
Let's fly.
Falcons fly. Come on, we'll take some of that. But, are these players, I know every player is trying to get a chip, right? But you got 2 players. No, you got a couple players that already have chips, right? So that whole winning your first chip, we know Exit is always going to be looking for that too, but that's not really in the back. When you're making that much money playing Call of Duty, which sounds like a sweet gig, if I'm going to be honest, are you comfortable with 5? Are you comfortable with middle of the pack? Again, it's not the Falcons fan base. They've got a large fan base, but they don't have the fan bases of these other teams where you're getting grilled on Twitter, you're getting grilled on social media. It's a lot less, while they do have a fan base, it's a lot less pressure. So there's no pressure and you're getting a bag. I think you're going to fall into complacency. But that being said, I do see them starting to pick it up, starting to mesh well. I do think Kismet is the X factor here. And I think if these other guys around him can get behind him, and we can see XNID rise to that next level, because in all honesty, I don't see them ever dropping XNID while this team is under the Riyadh Falcons label. This team could make a top 4. I'm hesitant to say that they're going to take a championship, but I do think they can be a top 4 team.
Yeah, I think Riyadh would go absolutely crazy if they won a tournament. But hey, when you talk about pressure, you don't have pressure in the Riyadh Falcons camp, but you've got pressure in that FaZe Vegas camp. I mean, when you have a full reset, you have a full brand reset before the CDL season even starts, and now you have the FaZe clan falling under, and now you've got Aluka on the bench. A lot of eyes are on those ARs. I mean, what are your thoughts on Aluka and this FaZe team?
Well, my first thought with Aluka is it's a genius move by the GM of FaZe to pick him up in the first place. If there's any murmurs of this guy is the next Merc, the last thing you want to go is say, I'm going up against the next Merc, right? You're already facing Merc on Optic. Why add another one? As a fan, you're like, okay, is this guy just going to sit on the bench for the rest of the year? You kind of hate to see that. You want to see him competing. You want to see him playing. But
yeah,
if you're a player on FaZe, knowing that, okay, there's rumors of this guy is the next Merc who just totally took over the league by storm, totally took over the spot. Everyone's the talk of the town for this guy. Beans literally loses his spot to him. You're like, okay, hang on. What's going on, right? So that's in the back of your head. And my big thing for FaZe is you got to tune out the noise, right? Whether it's all the stuff that's going on with FaZe Clan, whether it's all the stuff on Twitter about this, Aluka needs to play, Aluka needs to start, you got to shut it up. You got to just play the game. You got to mesh well. We talked about it before in our show that FaZe was looking a little up and down. They had started to get the wheels together before the break. We'll see coming out of break with this whole Aluka pickup if it really is okay, we're going to start working. And that'll be interesting to see how that plays out with his visa issues and everything. But, man, you got to tune out the noise because those 2 ARs, man, your spot's on the line. And the pressure is high.
Absolutely. And you mentioned it, the visa issues. That leads me right into my point. I mean, this is the most crucial time in this FaZe Vegas team right now. It's the crucial time. It's the beginning of the year. Right. Now is the time to try things out. I
Mm.
say as soon as they get these visa issues after Major One, hopefully, if they have turmoil, I feel like they got to make a change. Move somebody to bench them for a little bit. But it's like the NFL. They remove starters, they put in people, they try different things. It's like, what is the difference here? You have a young player that hasn't been in the CDL. He's just sitting on the bench. I know every single person in the CDL that watches the CDL wants to see Aluka on that phase team, at least for one match. I mean, come on. It's juicy. We want it. We want it bad. And I don't really care who it is, if it's Draza or if it's a Buza. I don't really care. I know Aluka fits the Draza stereotype player a little bit more. So I'm just excited to see what they do. But yeah, I know that is definitely going to get to them, but they have to lock in and at least, just place well enough at Major One so that they keep a spot.
I agree. And what a crazy storyline. That would be the CEO of Optic getting now dropped. Would be quite a storyline, and Tactical Rab would have quite the steak dinner. Let me tell you that. But we're going to go up northeast to Boston, man. This is a team that you love or hate them. They're doing something in that camp. Spoony, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of an up and down season the last couple seasons for them. And I think they have to listen to Purge. I mean, Purge is the best in-game leader that team has had in a very long time. And he's been on the team the last couple of years. And I believe that 100%, the two components of that team, the reason that they've had a little bit of success is because of Purge's comms and Snoopy's ability to have masterclass takeover performances. So I think as long as they can continue to just give him an opportunity, I think he's really going to excel.
I agree completely. My take was get Snoopy off the doghouse, right? Classic animation, sleeping on the dog. Get him loose. Let him fry. Let him do his thing. And he needs to have that confidence. I don't know if anybody's ever seen like the behind the scenes stuff they did for champs, just how deflated that team. Granted, you're going up against an Optic super team, if we're going to be honest, but that picture and that, the behind the scenes of that, seeing them, how deflated they were when they were playing Optic, and it's just whatever. I want them to have the mindset of, no, we're good enough. We're going to fry them. Right. And granted, when you're going up against all those scrims and that's your competitive, you're just losing. I get it. But I want to see that confidence. I want to see them running free. I do want to see Purge and Snoopy continue to take over. I think, again, Snoopy and Purge as a duo, they're kind of an established duo. And I'm really looking for this year that they turn that into a major win. I think at Boston, it's not out of the expectation to say, guys, we got to take a major this year. I think that is on our list. And that's what Pooh's going to call.
Yeah, I think, one of the players that we didn't mention is Nasty. And I think that he has gotten better every single year. He was on that LA Thieves team. He got dropped and he went to the Surge team. And then, he got dropped off the Surge team and now he's here. And so I feel like he has something to prove every single year and he gets overlooked every single year. And I feel like he's just going to continue to get better and better. But when you talk about Nasty, you got to talk about his former team in the LA Thieves. I mean, holy, what a year it's already been. What a storyline it's already been. But Pooh, what do you see this team doing over the next year?
Well, I could tell you what they're going to do, and I could tell you what Pooh would do if he's, the GM, and that is I'm sticking a load of dynamite in that thing and I'm blowing it up. Okay? Listen, you come in and you're like, this is the super team. And then granted, we are halfway through Major One. But again, this is a time where things have to change so that it doesn't spiral later on in the season.
Yeah.
They're not meshing, right? No hate to Ken. It might be time to hang up the sticks, right?
Yeah.
No hate to Hydra and Scrap, but I'm not seeing it working. What I am seeing is I'm seeing the last time we saw these teams play, or LAT play, excuse me, Scrap put the controller down early. And I think that's going to continue into the new year where I think this team's checked. I don't see this team really shifting and putting it together. You've heard the rumors about how Kenny likes to perform and how lead a team. And I just don't see the guys on LAT really leaning into that mindset and leaning into that play style that it could mesh. So I think you got to blow it up. It could be a two-man change. Could just be a one. You see Kenny retire or drop. We'll see, but you got to blow up that roster, man.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I don't think that they will do that. I think that there should be some movement. What they should have done is gone out and took a chance on Aluka. I got to give, Aches a shout out. I feel like he has some crazy takes sometimes, but hey, Aluka was looking good. And now a team went out and they did it. They had the balls and they went out and they did it. They signed him to the bench just to give him some time to marinate in challengers and get him ready for the CDL. But now, who else are you going to? There aren't really looking like, any other top prospects like the Merc, like the Aluka, and so now they're a little bit stuck. And I heard a clip of Scrap saying that they're probably going to stick it out the rest of the year. Now, listen, that probably ain't happening. But I'm going to take the pressure off of Kenny, and I'm going to put the pressure fully on Scrap and Hydra. This is now the second year that they've been as a duo, and I feel like they're both people that have pretty hot egos. I feel like maybe not with each other. They got each other's back, which is good, but I feel like the moment that things start going wrong, they're going to say, I'm dropping a 1 point blank. I'm dropping, this amount of kills. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm doing my role. And they're looking around, the game room. They're looking around like, what's going on behind me? What's going on, And I just feel like you got to start to analyze this team, and you got to think, what if Scrap and Hydra are the problem? I feel like, they have a little bit of a hot-headedness. I feel like they don't take the time to truly change what they need to change because they know that they're consistent in their game styles. But putting the controller down when you are getting paid thousands of dollars to be on this team.
You're finishing the map. I don't care
finishing the map.
How bad it is.
Are you kidding me? You're just going to stop playing the game? I'm thinking, what kind of attitude is that?
Hello? Oh, the call is coming from inside the house. It's time to step it up, boys.
It's time to step it up for real. But again, I don't think that they're going to make crazy roster changes, unfortunately. Again, if Kenny does retire, I think that that's going to be, the kick in to start that process. But I mean, man, I don't see them, making a change, but they really need to if they want to hit into this top three. And when you talk about the top three, you got Toronto sitting at that top three right now.
You do got Toronto, and they're kind of the team that we've seen in the past. They kind of sneak their way in. I'm surprised that they're kind of sneaking their way in this early with this roster. But, man, my resolution for them is get Real to become the real deal, okay? This is a guy that leaves Miami. There's a lot of drama there. We saw it when they faced off against each other. I'm sure that storyline for the rest of the year is going to be great.
Yeah.
He's a guy that he's going to be the X factor for this team. I think when he is frying, when he is playing at that level he was playing on Heretics, it's going to be a scary team, this Toronto team. And I'm looking at him and even Joe DeCeves as well to really take that up to a new level in this year to really elevate them. And I think they're another team as well that, same with LAT, I would argue, if you don't win a major, it's kind of a chalked year.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of teams that could come out right and win a major. I mean, Joe DeCeves is disgusting. He is absolutely disgusting. And this guy is dropping 3 pieces. He'll kill all 4. He'll kill all 4 and then kill the next guy off spawn. It doesn't matter. Put whatever gun in his hand. He's going to run a flex. It doesn't matter. He is the root of this team, and I think everybody knows that. They knew that on LAT, and they let him go. But I think that this guy is going to have another breakout year, and he has Real, finally another sub around him that can do, what he needs to do. Kleenex has been trying to operate in this flex sub. They just been trying to figure out the roles, but I think they have to figure out what happened exactly in the offseason with Insight. It's just weird. It's weird. Especially with Real. It's like Real didn't know if he was going, didn't know if he was staying. And then it's like, oh, no, actually, I am going to sleep over at your house. It's like, okay, whatever. It's weird. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it's the offseason. That's what makes this stuff so juicy, But Insight, he has to have a good season. If he doesn't have a good season, I feel like this is the break between him being on a top 5 team and that, or he's going to drop to the bottom 4. I just 100%. Feel like this is his last. He could very easily become a slasher, and he could be a veteran presence, but not really, hitting up with the top leagues anymore. And I feel like that's a very high possibility. But when you talk about top of the league, you've got 2 of our juggernauts hitting it straight off the rip. Hit us with the number 2 spot here in Paris.
Yeah, man, this is an exciting team. I think everyone coming into this year was curious of how this team was going to shape out. And I think they've kind of exceeded some expectations, and they're kind of falling in the middle of some people's. Listen, my thing is you got to win your home event. You get the ability this year. You've got such a large fan base, and what a great look it is for the scene to have the Gentlemates come in. And listen, you're going to play at your home crowd. This is the first time I think that we're really going to see something compared to the Green Wall take shape for another team. And so you got to take advantage of that. I'm looking at you to win Major 4. And honestly, man, I'm looking at this team with the talent that they have on this roster. I don't want to see them going below top 6 at any event. I know it's a high expectation, but
it's really not. I mean, when you look at the team, I mean, these are 4 of the greatest players in their positions. I mean, like, it's hard to find an AR that shoots better than Sib. I mean, maybe Dashi, hell, maybe even a Luka. I don't know. But I mean, Sib, he can fry. But my biggest complaint about this team is they have so many superstars on this team, but they have so many attitudes on this team. I feel like, Envoy, he isn't necessarily the one I'm looking at in terms of attitude, but I feel like he has those moments where he would boil up and just be like, okay, team's over. I'm checked. And I feel like he maybe got that way on LA. And I feel like he got that way on Toronto when he was on Toronto. I just feel like if things aren't going well, he could just check himself out. If
100%.
he's having a bad year, I feel like he can check himself out. So he has to continue to have that success with Neptune, and they have to have that good vibe going on. Because if Sib gets mad, if Ghosty gets mad, he stops hitting the Zaza, I feel like this team could easily fall apart. I feel like they're so good. I feel like they're really, really scary.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I feel like they're the best team in the CDL right now.
I agree.
I feel like they are truly the scariest, and I think Optic knows that. But I feel like Optic, here's my resolution for Optic.
Yeah.
I think that they're ready to get back to consistency. I feel like, they won they won COD champs, they won EWC, then they go and they win all their matches. But I think that they know deep down that they're barely scraping by. I think they know that there are things that they have to mesh out. They have to get these things that they got to get going and get more consistent. But I think they can do it. And I know that they really want to be the first team to ever go back to back to back. They did it. First team ever to go back to back. But we need that third in a row. Can you imagine the legacy that they would cement?
That would be quite the legacy. And I think this is the team. And I honestly think with the fan bases of Paris and Optic and even FaZe, these are the teams that have the highest amount of pressure on them from their fan bases and from their orgs. I think specifically with Optic, like you said, I think a lot of Optic fans will say that this is not a good year unless we go back to back to back, which if you think about it, is pretty crazy if you put that for any team. Sure. I do agree with you on 100%. They have to find that consistency. They can't, my thing is they can't go backwards, right? No team changes this year. You have a good team. Let's stick it out for the rest of the year. I don't care if you go on a little bit of a losing skid, but you got to stay with the same team. And same with Paris in that they got to win their home major. Optic, you got to start your incredible back-to-back journey with a home event. I'm looking at, you got to come out the gates firing. You got to win Major 1. Major 1, man, I think if they don't win Major 1, honestly, this is a crazy poo take, I think they're not going to win another event this year. I think that they're kind of a team that they're a great team, but they can get a little deflated. Let's be honest. And so with that amount of pressure and the amount of pressure that the green wall brings, an unsuccessful Major 1, I think could hurt the team.
Yeah, and you mentioned it earlier, I believe, about the Falcons when you talked about not getting complacent. Listen, you don't know how much money these guys just made out of all those tournaments. And you're signing contracts, you're getting sponsors. It's like, hey, if I was getting paid millions of dollars to play Call of Duty, it would be so hard not to just phone
100%.
it in. You gotta be real. You gotta be real. If you're 20 years old, 21 years old, making millions of dollars playing Call of Duty, it's hard to stay locked in. Yeah. But I truly believe that these players, out of really any players, these top 4 players here, I believe that they want to win so much. Yeah. And especially Hook. And it might not necessarily seem like it because he's not the most vocal, but I feel like he is the backbone of this team. And he's also the first player that will get dropped, which is insane to think about. Because you're not dropping Dashi, you're not dropping Shotzi, you're not dropping Merc. Let's be real. So you look at Hook as the only potential person that's going to get dropped. And they've done it before. I don't want to say it, but they could do it again, and if things could go bad, but I agree with you. They can't make team changes. They have to stay consistent with this team, and they got to see what they can do. But man, I feel like this is a great year.
This is going to be a great year. It's going to be awesome.
But hey, that's going to be our New Year's resolutions for all 12 CDL teams from the 12th place all the way up to the first place. Let's see if they can get ahead.
Hopefully they can get ahead. Hopefully they take our advice, specifically looking at the Falcons to throw a little sponsorship our way, man. We'll say fly Falcons fly for the rest of the year. I'll tell you what. But listen, Rotate New, CDL 2026. It's going to be a crazy year. We've got some insane matches starting off this weekend. We got some awesome content coming your way. Starting it right back up with Squad Up coming right back at you Thursday. We make some pretty crazy predictions, I'm not going to lie. And then we've got our regular Rotate New schedule programming. And then we've got some fun CMG matches, man. I'm excited for that, Spoony.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to New Year's resolutions, I got one for you, Pooh. And
Hit
if
me.
that could be that you don't be 0.3 Kenny in those CMG matches, that would be great. But hey, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love you guys so much. We're so ready for what is in store for 2026. And we can't wait to see what you guys have to say about our crazy picks and thoughts. But hey, take care, guys. We'll see y'all soon. This has been Spoony.
And I'm Pooh.
Take care. You look like Tactical Rob.
Yeah, that's fun.
And I look like Zero.
You're so bad. This is my Neptune impression. What did he say?
You're horrible. You're so
horrible.
bad.
You're so bad.